Been too long. And well, happy 2021. This year is kind of interesting. It actually started off in the strangest way I've ever seen in my life. And I was planning on supposed to be posting a video like a few weeks ago, like preparing ourselves for the new CT5 V Blackwing edition and the CT4 Blackwing edition. But this needs to be discussed before we even begin the video. And first and foremost, what is going on with the channel right now? I'm still passionate of doing YouTube videos. Let's just get that out of the way. I still love doing YouTube videos. There has been some, if you've been watching what's been going on in media, social media, with censorship and all that stuff, I see what's happening, and I am in no way joining any politics or anything like that. And that's my thing. I only see what needs to be done. That is what needs to be moving forward in our world, and that's where I position myself in. I see what is right and just, and I don't join any politics or anything. Most importantly, I focus on what is right in the eyes of God. That's my main goal in life. I want to do something that was right and just, and that is good in the eyes of God. That's always what I always want to do. And it was not a very good time for me to post a video, because there were some things that, in a way, it was holding me back, and it wasn't the right time for me to post a video, because there were some things, let's just say, inhibitions taking place, and it canceled out a lot of channels. But it's also affecting, it's supposed to be affecting those specific things for politics, government, and all that stuff. But right now it got translated into other things like the automotive community and, say so forth, small channels like me. And I've noticed what was happening to my channels, and I really push hard to try to put out good content, best content, but you know, you can't control what the algorithm is doing. The only thing you could do, the best you could do, is post videos, and hopefully if someone watches this and it's helpful for them, it's good. I mean, to those who are really subscribed to me, I mean, thankful that you guys remain with me even in the midst of the storm, and bear with me even with my imperfections. So I'm grateful for you guys for staying put for that. And I don't really think about subscribers too much, because some of the subscriber numbers are kind of skewed. Let's just say that it's not really the true subscribers. I would know a true subscriber when I know who they are. They're good friends of mine, and I'm thankful for that. So I just want to let you guys know, like, you know, everyone will talk about what happened to the views. You deserve more views. At this point, I really don't care about the views anymore, because what's been happening for the past few weeks was interesting, and it was not cool. It was really not cool, and it's not fair, and it's gonna affect the automotive channels like me and many others. It's gonna happen in the future, because we're all passionate car guys. Like, you know, I'm a passionate LS small block V8 guy. I love the V8. I don't want to idolize it, but I have respect for it, because it's a very sturdy engine, and it's a very heavy-duty engine that does the job right. And this is why I favor it, because it's a very good engine, and the engineers who designed it did a very good job. It's been here since the 1950s, and GM deserves all the credit for it. But when you have some individuals, like, let's just say, the electric people and the green and the climaters getting involved, it does not fit their agenda. And I'm like, what about us passionate car guys? Like, we like our V8s, we like our cars, we care about the environment, but at the same time, we like performance vehicles, we love engines. Sometimes it goes against their agenda, and we can't do that. And there has to be a balance, a meeting point, not one win over the other, or like, oh, their time is up, we need to move on, we need to get into this thing. I'm like, there's people like me. It's also the same way with the manuals. And I'm going to talk about the CT5 V Blackwing, because that was very, very, very bold move what they have done in Cadillac to do something like that. So we have to be really honest with ourselves about what's happening with our community, not just the gathering of our community, automotive community, but where we're heading and where we have to stand and stay true to it, and how we have to have a middle ground, but not one win over the other. There has to be like a balance, like a treaty between the two. But when treaties happen, they usually break it. So honest to goodness, like, there has to be a center of balance to things. Like, I'm fine with electric cars. I am 100% okay with hybrid vehicles, because as long as you keep the V8 engines and you have electric vehicles mixed together, I'm perfectly fine with it. I have no problem with hybrids, because if you look at performance vehicles like the McLaren P1, and now they came out with a new McLaren vehicle that has the twin turbo V6. There should have been twin turbo V8 on it. It would have been really cool. But, and also the Porsche Panamera E hybrid and other stuff like that with the V8 hybrids. So you got to sit down and ask yourself, like, hey, we need to have a middle ground here. If we want to continue this automotive community, but where we could be into the middle. We have the ICE engines, V8 engine guys, or diesel guys. We have the hybrid guys that has performance ICE engines with electric vehicles, and the electric vehicle guys. I have respect for Tesla and many other electric vehicles, and I've noticed that the Audi group or the Volkswagen group has been coming out with very good electric vehicles. That was cool, but I'm waiting for one American company to respond. And I'll talk lightly about the Hummer EV a little bit, not too much. I'm not going in depth to it. So that's my take on what's happening with the channel. Hopefully, if they hear it, they hear it. Great. I mean, I don't want to go too much in depth, because honest to goodness, they gone kind of out of whack. Let's just be truthful to that. I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I've been through their ups and downs, but censorship taken too far is too far. I mean, there's some good and bad into it, but when you start using censorship to push a narrative or an agenda, or trying to inhibit somebody from what they love and what they do, like, I enjoy the love of planes, like plane spotting or anything. If they don't like it, they're gonna suppress it. That's bad. I love automotive. This is an automotive channel. We can't have that. I want to share cars. I would like to share other small block vehicles like this and many others. Not to share like possessions to act like I'm so cool or something like that. I'm not interested in that. I mean, I'm here to bring dialogue, communities together, so that we can have ideas and share a great passion and have a shared unity passion together, and friendships to be built. And that's the whole point. And and you have narratives like that being pushed, that's bad, and censorship is not okay to that point. So let's just put that in there. Let's just be real with that. So let's begin to this news of the CT5 V Blackwing. We're gonna hold that first, because the CT4 Blackwing has a competition that's coming out of Lexus, and I'm gonna hold that off, the CT4 V Blackwing. So let's go to the CT5 Blackwing. I honestly think that the CT5 Blackwing should be nothing more than the CTS V4. It's practically like, it's the same engine as the last gen V3 CTS V, same LT4 engine, but they tuned the engine up. The LT4 engine is tuned up from 640 to 668 horsepower. Okay, it's tuned up. It's almost 670. It's mind-boggling for an SUV like much smaller than the V3 to be carrying so much power, and it's rear-wheel drive. and standard manual that is 3D printed. Can you believe that? Some parts of it is 3D printed using the additive 3D printing. You could look up additive 3D printing metalworks. I mean, GM has invested into 3D printing right now, and they're gonna put this on the CT5 V Blackwing, and that's gonna be really interesting. So the LT4 engine is back and is really tuned up with a Tremec 6-speed manual, and that's great. The manuals have been saved, and this is what American muscle should be all about: a driver's focus vehicle, that where the driver is in total 100% control, and that the joy of driving continues and the lineage continues there. And that's how the cars of the performance segment should be done: manual and high engine horsepower and output. And this should be fun. And those are the reasons why the ICE engines should remain. And like, that's where the beginning of vehicles all started. I mean, that's the joy and passion of it. So I'm so grateful to GM and the Cadillac performance team actually got onto it, and they understood that this is a performance vehicle, a driver's focused vehicle, and it needed to be done. And kudos to them. Kudos to them. I would like to drive it one day, but with all this COVID stuff and all the craziness that's going on, I mean, we'll just have to see what has to be done. Let's just see what has to be done. And yeah, I can't wait. It'll be coming out this summer, and they already started pre-orders for it. It's like 250 units pre-ordered, but they said they're gonna make more of it. Right now, like, all the automotive industry is going through issues with a shortage of semiconductor chips, so we don't know how long it's gonna be. So it's gonna be a while. It's really gonna be a while for it. So I'm so grateful that the CT5 Blackwing is a driver-focused vehicle. It comes with the carbon ceramic brakes or the steel rotors. You could choose either one. So it's an option. You could build your own CT5 Blackwing with the manual or the 10-speed automatic. And you could have many choices of the wheels. They have the magnesium wheels. It's a little more kind of a brassier one, so it's really good. But I'm more of the stainless steel type person. Magnesium is cool, but I would prefer the stainless steel ones. They're kind of subtle and not too show-offy, so it's pretty, whichever is the best, it's the best. That's what I would choose. And whatever is as much minimalistic it has to be. So that's my take on the CT5 Blackwing. Nice job. It's practically it's a V4. I don't know why they would call it a CT5. I mean, don't have to call it like the Germans. You should have continued the CTS name and the ATS name. Oh yeah, let's go to the CT4 Blackwing edition, or otherwise known as version 2 of the ATS V. Same engine, 3.6 liter twin turbo V6. It jumped up to 640. No, not 600, sorry. 464 horsepower to 472 horsepower. And it's, I'll put the torque numbers over there, but we're just going to talk about the horsepower number. 464 to 472 horsepower. Same manual Tremec, and I gotta say it's an ATS-V, and it's much more sportier. And if you look at the images of the CT4 Blackwing, the spoiler, the big deck lid, it was on the same thing on the ATS-V, and it's the same. They did the same thing. I think it's because of the aerodynamics on it. It needs to be more, so it creates more downforce. So I think it's an ATS-V, same 3.6 liter twin turbo V6, 472 horsepower with the manual transmission. Really, really, really good for a car that size and that price range and that performance. It deserves that engine. It's not going to reach the Alfa Romeo Giulia with 503 horsepower with the same like engine, like twin turbo V6, but I wish it was up 510. But you know, they're not going to go up any further. I think this is a brand new engine. They still got to go through more testing on it. So anyways, but there is a competition to the CT4 Blackwing, and the timing of this was really interesting because it was happened around the same month it happened by Lexus. But if you remember, last year Lexus had the GSF, and they stopped making the GSF because they said the sales numbers, no one's buying it. But they reintroduced that same V8 that was on the RCF and the LC500, the same 5-liter V8, and now is on the IS. Now it's called the IS500 FSport, or it should have been called the ISF. If you guys remember the ISF, it had the V8 engine on it a long time ago with 416 horsepower. This IS500 FSport has the same engine power, the 472 horsepower, as this CT4 Blackwing, CT4 V Blackwing. So these two are same in power, but the torque numbers are completely different. Let me get the torque numbers right now. I'm back. So the LS500 FSport has 395 pound-feet of torque, but the CT4 V Blackwing has 445 pound-feet of torque. How much difference is that? That is 50 more torque the CT4 Blackwing has over this IS500 FSport. This is an interesting comparison. This is a good competitor on that same market. I know Cadillac is competing at the M3 or more. I don't know why many other people are saying M2, but it is the M3. So the M3's competition is the CT4 Blackwing. Now the ISF Sport 500 is the direct competitor to this. And I would like to see a head-to-head on this one. I need to see a head-to-head on this one. We want to see if you put those two on a drag line together, the CT4 Blackwing with the IS500 FSport. I wonder who will get off the line first. Most probably it would be the CT4 V Blackwing because of the torque numbers itself. And it's the V6, it's a much lighter vehicle. So that will be a very interesting comparison. But I will give credit to Lexus for maintaining its V8s. All right, with all the companies that are turning away from V8s because of climate change and Paris Accord things, that's their main reason. They're trying to be more environmentally friendly. And you know, you can make things that are environmentally friendly because companies have shown that you can make vehicles environmentally friendly by engineering works and all that stuff and keeping ICE engines. But you all heard about GM. They're trying to do away zero emissions, and they're trying to go electric around 2035. Many other companies are doing it. I mean, I hope something changes. I mean, ICE engines are really good. They can be engineered finely and tunely well to be fuel efficient and no issues. And another thing is the environmental issue is all caused by owners' maintenance. See, a lot of times owners need to learn to maintain their vehicles. They have, if they bought a vehicle, it's responsibility, making sure everything works fine, everything is clean, and everything's running perfectly normal. And then the cars feel efficient and it's environmentally friendly. A lot of times it never happens. So that's the only solution. It's up to the people to decide. If you want a cleaner vehicle, maintain your vehicles properly. So yeah, so we talked about the CT5 Blackwing. I didn't talk much about it, but kudos to them. CT4 Blackwing and the IS500 FSport. So those are the three top ones. So we could talk about the Ford Raptor. I mean, they're not coming out of the V8 until next year. They did a release video of the new Raptor, but they said the Raptor R is not coming out till next year. So honest to goodness, I'm not going to talk about it. So we'll see about that. So yeah. So again, this whole channel is supposed to be a hobbyist channel, nothing to be over the top or anything. And also, I want to close in saying that please don't idolize anything. I mean, all these things with cars and all that, these are just passions and things that you enjoy doing. One thing you need to understand is that make sure you have a strong relationship with God. I mean, please put God in your life, everybody. I mean, there's a lot of things that you should be thankful for that we have interested and joy in, but a lot of times things can go too far. Like, you could put material possessions over God or anything. See, I'm a passionate car guy because this is what I do. I love working on it. I love it. This is like a knowledge to me that it's a serve a purpose to educate people, has engineering aspects. You do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, you cannot put material possessions over God. You can't do that. And first off, you have to thank God for everything you do, and don't be ashamed of it. And right now, what we're seeing in the country I am in, honest to goodness, you see this. If you're in a foreign country, you know well enough that I do not live in other countries. And we're in our country is, I really hope our maker really gets involved on this one. And we have some great gratitude that we have been created here in this earth to do something we enjoy. And it's sad to see something that he has gifted us being taken away by, you know, just people with agendas and people with censorship and trying to put some kind of persecution over good things. So that's my take on what it is. You should, first off, say thank you to God for everything that you have, and that he's given you a good life and all that, giving you a life, food to eat, and something you could enjoy so that you could have some great joy into it. But also, it's up to us as human beings to understand we cannot idolize things too far. We can't idolize two things. If we start idolizing things, we might as well just take all these possessions and put it onto a side. So I just want to close in to say that. So hang in there. We're gonna get through this. This is gonna be some rough seasons, and yeah, stay strong, guys, and we'll weather the storm. See ya.